Maddie's believes nature is beautiful, majestic, serene. But human nature is inventive, intrepid, reckless. Nature says, look how many colors I can fit in a sunset. Human nature says, look how many hot wings I can fit in my mouth. But human nature needs nature. That's why there's Maddie's all-natural acid and indigestion relief. A drug-free remedy for human nature. Available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, and Amazon. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
If you're intrigued by the mysteries of the unknown, now you can investigate thousands on Discovery Plus. Stream exclusive originals plus a collection of favorites, all for just $4.99. Discovery Plus is the streaming home of paranormal, plus so much more. Start your free trial.
Hi, welcome back. Welcome back. Well, I was going to sing a song, but no, it's completely, never mind.
I was like, welcome back to what?
To the microphone. I feel like it's been forever. I feel like it's been forever. It's only been like 2 weeks, but you know, it is forever watching the last couple episodes of Happily Ever After. That I feel like it takes forever because nothing is happening for I literally watched 3 episodes yesterday, which is like 6 hours of my life. And nothing happened, and the same argument happened between every couple across all episodes, across like the entire show.
You know, a lot of people are saying that. Do you think maybe they just didn't have enough material?
Yes, absolutely did not have enough material, you know. So let's start with the one couple that actually seemed like they got their shit together, and that is Asuelu and Kalani. So they talked and they decided that he got in a car accident or something. Like I missed that part, but then I saw like the other part, like where she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." You know, that made me realize that I could lose him and I really don't want to lose him. And you know, and I don't want to divorce him and all this stuff. So it like sort of reinvigorated their love for each other, and they decided to talk about the stuff. And then they went to the sex shop, like the one sex shop in St. George, Utah. And then he stepped up and was like, planned this like weekend getaway that was supposed to be just the two of them. But then she's like, well, I'm still breastfeeding the kids. So the kids have to come and my mom has to come, which is like, that's not really a romantic getaway, but you know, she's breastfeeding and you know, whatever. So they had to do, so it was the best they could do, right? Until she stops breastfeeding. But so she was like, really like, oh, this is so sweet that he's stepping up and you know, and all this stuff. Like this is what I wanted. And then they get to like the Mormon murder camp.
Oh my God.
And she's like, oh my God, Mom, did you bring bleach? It's like these cabins are really bare bones cabins. And I mean, I don't know what's out there, right? You know, the idea, the sentiment was very sweet and she made the best of it. She wasn't being like a total cunt cake about it. So she rolled with the punches. So I actually was not completely like screaming at them because, you know, they rolled with it and they had these conversations and they explained like, oh, this is why I'm upset or this is what happens. And they like talked through their stuff and they came to like a good place. So like, I was like, okay, this is pleasant. Do you have any thoughts on Kalani and Asuelu?
Not so much, except for it sucks for me to be so pessimistic, but it's like, ooh, one trip, one moment, one thing.
Yeah.
And if this is how far he has to go to constantly make her happy, I fear that it's just they're going to get back home and it's going to be, okay, what now?
Do you think her expectations are too high? Like she's expecting too much from him or?
No, I think her expectations are fine. That's what she wants. but I don't know if Asuelu has the energy to meet those expectations. Not that they're too high, they're just not attainable for Asuelu's effort, his choice of effort.
for him to make her happy, he doesn't need to like sweep her away to the Mormon murder camp every,
But she wants lots of maintenance, right? She wants.
I don't think she does.
I think she does. I think she wants at least to be reminded that he cares about her, but she likes it. I'm going to say her love language is probably through gifts. And it's not a bad thing, but I think it's through gifts and what was the other one? Kind of like acknowledgement, that the love acknowledgement. I love you. Constantly telling somebody that.
Affirmation.
Showing. Yeah. Affirmation, gifts, and showing it. And he doesn't do either of those. And what he considers to be a gift is the problem, right? I brought you a sandwich. Isn't that a fucking gift? Like, isn't that romantic? And you're just kind of like, maybe we have a huge disconnect here because.
Well, I feel like, I mean, at home, she just wants him to sort of step up and be a partner. Like, I don't think it would take a lot for him to meet those needs at home. He just needs to be told and explained, like, this is what being a partner is, right? Like helping with the house or helping with the kids or things like that. So because she's talked about that repeatedly, right? That like, she's always like, she gets up with the kids every night because she is breastfeeding and stuff. And that's a whole dynamic that's difficult, right, to deal with. When you are breastfeeding, you are the sole food provider for one of the kids. And then, but she's like, does all the housework and does this and does that and stuff. And he just plays video games and stuff. I feel like he wouldn't have to do that much at home to be a star in her eyes, right? Like do the dishes, maybe make dinner, yeah, she doesn't want to be brought a pizza because that's what her brother does. But like maybe grab some cheap flowers at the grocery store. Like they don't have to be fancy, just that you're thinking of her. They're both young. Well, he's young. They're both like each other's firsts and onlys. Like to be in a serious committed relationship. Like I didn't know how to be a partner. Like he doesn't know how to be a partner. So I think he just needs to be taught. And like this big grand gesture was great. Even if the execution of it was maybe not the best, she at least wasn't a dick about it. So I was happy to see that.
Yeah, and I don't excuse him because I think he's really mature, and I don't think that's just an excuse of culture. But I don't think maybe the love that she's wanting is what he grew up seeing as an example. Mm-hmm. So that could be it too. Not that it's right or wrong. It's just explaining why he probably doesn't feel like he's slacking off. Right.
He doesn't know. And in his culture in Samoa, they, he's talked about this before, sort of the men do this thing and the women do this thing, and so that's also sort of his only frame of reference. Whereas she grew up, we see her parents now, and they seem very loving. And even now, so after how many years of marriage, so she obviously grew up with,
and that's across the board, right? Families have different upbringings, and some people think you're supposed to treat a woman this way, and some people are very wrong in how you're supposed to treat a woman.
Yes,
right? And sometimes it's what they saw growing up. I don't think that either of them should have to go past the middle to meet the other person's expectations. I think that they aren't meeting in the middle. There's I think Kalani is overextending. I think she's really trying to meet him where he is, and that's exhausting her.
Yeah.
You sound like a fucking psychologist. You're not speaking her love language effectively, and you should read this book. Oh, fuck that. But I hate all that. I hate all that. But, in their case, I guess it makes sense. I don't know. Yeah. They could have had fun at Murder Cabin Spa Lake. They
did.
I mean, a really, really good episode of 90 Day if they just turned it into like a murder mystery, like they found a skeleton in the backyard or
there's an adventure,
and they have to figure out what some kind of thriller. Wasn't Libby and some shit like that. Some thriller
Oh
movie.
God.
Be still and wait or something like that. That sounds terrible. It's be still and
no.
Yeah. I'm like, and wait. Be still, bitch, and wait.
Oh Jesus. The call is coming from inside the house.
Oh, I got but yeah, I think that could have been more fun. I would have watched a whole hour of that, like Kalani and Asuelu both doing ghost hunting and shit. Like that would have been funny.
I liked their interaction together. I found that I was really enjoying when they were both, like they're like them at the sex shop. Like they were like interacting and they were, like neither of them are experienced, right? Like they were each other's first and stuff. So none of them have, I don't know how much porn or whatever their frame of reference is. Although Kalani did say that Asuelu doesn't believe in masturbation. So I'm not thinking he has a huge porn collection, but them like looking at all those different options of things at the sex shop, they were like, I love their interaction together and the way they were. So you can kind of see like what their base is, right? And like when they were at the murder farm, or not the farm, that's a different couple, the Mormon murder cabin, they were, and she's like drinking her drink straight out of the bottle. And, and he's like, I'll try it. And she's like, don't drink that much. You're going to, it just like, it was cute seeing their interaction. I feel like we don't see that enough with any couples. All we see is their disagreements and their arguments about stuff. And so it was kind of nice to see them enjoying each other.
I agree.
But that was like maybe 5-10 minutes out of the entire 6 hours worth of show that I watch.
I know.
Hi, everyone. I'm here to tell you about our newest sponsor, Poshmark. Poshmark is this great free app where you can easily clean out your closet and sell items for cash. You can get name brands like Lululemon, Nike, Louis Vuitton for up to 70% off. There are tons of lightly used or brand new items with the tags on Poshmark. You can use Poshmark to shop for your next event, like if you need a dress, or if you're going on vacation and you want some vacation clothes. Shipping is so fast and the app is so easy to use. I've been buying and selling on Poshmark for years, and it's a great app to use, especially right now as I've been losing weight. And as I go through the sizes, Poshmark has been great to buy stuff in the next size that I need. And I don't know how long I'm going to be in that size. So it's a great place to pick up the great name brands that I like without having to spend a ton. It's so fun. You can practically shop for free with the money that you make in sales. So if you want to clean out your closet, get rid of stuff that doesn't fit you anymore, Poshmark is a great place to go. They have a ton of cool items and all of the brands that you can think of. You just search and all of the stuff will come up. Listeners of the Fraudcast get $10 off your first purchase. Just use the invite code Fraudcast when you sign up. That's invite code Fraudcast. You can get $10 off your first purchase at Poshmark. Just download the app now, free in the App Store, and you can start buying and selling for cash.
All right. So, let's take a moment for some real talk. We're in a pandemic now. I think we've been in it for like a year, actually, almost to the day. Mm-hmm. How are you? Like, what's, how are you doing? What's interfering with your happiness?
The biggest thing that I've been dealing with in the pandemic, particularly early on, but still now, is anxiety, which came out of the blue for me because anxiety is not one of my go-to issues. Other ones, yes, but anxiety, no. So I have actually had to take a step back and learn some new coping techniques and mechanisms to help me deal with anxiety.
Right. And I mean, even right now, seeking therapy is a normal thing, right? BetterHelp is a great, because I don't like traditional brick and mortar therapy. It doesn't work for my schedule. Like, I don't want to have to drive to it.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't feel comfortable in face-to-face. Like, I don't open up in face-to-face situations. So that's what's great about BetterHelp, is because it's not a crisis line. It's a professional counseling service provided online, and it's secure. There's licensed professionals who specialize in a variety of issues, including depression. And what I can relate to the most is stress, especially anxiety, because I'm juggling work. I'm a teacher. I do, homeschooling for my son every day, even the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to establish some kind of work-life balance, in a pandemic. It's really hard.
When everybody's working from home and everybody's all up in your space.
Exactly. And, one thing that, for me, security, I feel like anything I share will be confidential.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if they're professional counselors, then you get the same kind of professionalism, but a much more convenient and even affordable way by doing it through BetterHelp. And we want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/fraudcast. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/fraudcast for 10% off your first month. Since you mentioned her, Libby. So Family Libby, the course of the last couple episodes, we saw them go on a yacht and her go to blows with one of the sisters. And then we saw them get on an RV and start driving north. And then them arguing constantly more argument. It's the same argument that's continued. Like Jen never gets tired of saying that Andre is taking advantage of Dad, and that's it. Like that's the entire storyline at this point. I don't have a ton to say about them except for that, like when they left us at this most recent episode, like Andre had missed the turn because he's arguing with Jen, and he's like, "Jen, get off the RV, let's go." Like was he gonna like fist fight her outside the RV?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to say about them because their story is so drawn out and boring and stupid and fake and completely fake. Since they all really get along just fine. I don't know.
Do they still?
For the most part, yeah. Yeah, they do. They do this for storyline. Although I will say the fight between Becky and Libby on the boat, was it Becky? Yeah, Becky. I think I said Jen earlier. I meant Becky. The fight between them on the boat seemed real. Like Libby seemed legit pissed and going after her. And so,
I mean, I'm sure they fight anyways. Like, I don't think they're the most happy-go-lucky family. I'm pretty sure.
Right. It had to have come. There has to be a base, like a root of somewhere for them to draw on, right? But I mean, I'm just like, I don't know. Like the thought of getting on an RV that size, which admittedly is a large RV, but there's like 45 people on it. And their children, like that was giving me like, I was getting like, secondhand claustrophobia and like smelling like what that must smell like with all those people, getting all like hot and sweaty and gross and just like crammed in there like sardines. Like no. Like I would love to get an RV and drive around the country. Like that'd be fine. But with like 2 people, not with 16,000 people like they had. It seems a bit excessive.
Just a bit, a little bit. Just a tad.
Yeah. And I happen to know that from a source close to Camp Libby that Father Chuck, Daddy Chuck, is the one that sold that storyline to TLC because they were trying to come up with stuff because COVID and because they didn't really have any real stuff. So he said, well, hey, my dad lives up here. Maybe we can do a whole family thing. And TLC's like, oh yeah, let's do that. Okay. So
this was his awful idea.
Yeah. And he's just, is
that why he's like kind of like trying to be the star of this season?
I was just going to say like he's very excited because the show, all of the show, the boat, and then this is like, it's centering around his business and him and his, going to see his dad and all this stuff. So he's very excited. He's just pleased as punch about
Oh my God.
about this being focused around him.
Where did that come from? Pleased as punch. Is that Southern?
I don't know. Maybe.
I want to know. Anyways.
Yeah, so I really don't have much to say about them.
I think that's the podcast title. I really don't have much to say about them.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Okay.
I feel bad. I'm like, sure, yeah, next.
Next, there's nothing to say about them. Let's talk. There's quite a bit of chatter. I posted about this on my Instagram last night because about Tiffany and Ronald. So they're still having sort of their same, their slight variation on their theme is that, Tiffany went to her dad and said, can you still spot? He's past the visa part. He needs to do the interview.
Right.
And can you sponsor him? Because, she still doesn't make any money or whatever.
Right.
And despite, he's got a gambling problem in this history and all this stuff, but I love him and it's fine. And so she's like, which this is a whole separate thing, but like, she's like begging him to like sponsor him when she was just at a divorce attorney, like the week before,
right.
But whatever. And so she had, I guess, relented and decided to go to South Africa for like just in December, Christmas or whatever. Anyway, so she takes the kids and they go. And so he decides to, instead of having Daniel sleep on the couch, I'll build him a room in my garage.
Okay.
So he literally builds this room. He puts up some drywall, gives Daniel this room. If you look on Instagram, you see some of the pictures of what it is. I think it's Kyle from the Cray Crays put up a picture, and I swear to God, this thing looks like a prison room, but it is a room. It's not a room by official legal standards because there's no window, and you have to have like a whatever
legal where.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So
there's probably perfectly fine.
Yeah. So he builds a room, sweet gesture. Cause his whole goal is to make them happy and comfortable, his family there, so that they can see themselves moving there in case he bombs his interview. So she, but then she's said she's not going to move. And then, so I posted about it, that he's going to like force them to stay. And I know other people posted about it too, but then other people were like, okay, I liked him until that. Cause like, it was really sweet gesture of him to like build the room for Daniel and try to do this. But then he's like, I'm going to force them to stay. And by the way, I don't change poopy diapers because I have a wife for that. Discuss.
I don't like him, so I feel like my opinion might be a bit skewed, but I don't really like her either.
Yeah.
I that's harsh. That's mean. I think that like their circumstances different, right? Like she's raised their kids. She had an opportunity to be there with them, but it was dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
He managed to make it. He's still alive. He's still okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it was too dangerous for them to be there. I understand that.
Yeah.
I also understand doing things on my own as a single mom.
Yes.
And that shit drives you nuts because you're thinking, well, the other person has it like this. Not that she was a single mom.
Right. She was like,
but essentially out here, she kind of that function, right? Like
right.
You could be there digitally, but that's not.
It's not the same. It's not putting the kid to bed at the end. Yeah.
Right. Until we can use teleport technology, it's not going to fucking cut it.
But a lot of people were saying also that, he's the father. He has the right to be in the kid's life, particularly Carly's.
But he should be more eager to do it. I think his attitude of like, well, I'm still not going to do anything. I think he should have been eager to help. I think he should have been eager to pick up and say, you relax, you've done this. You know what I mean?
Right.
But instead he just didn't. So that would ultimately fucking piss me off. Like,
right.
It would be dangerous for him.
Seriously, right?
A little bit. Like, oh no, I told you it was a dangerous area.
Is Ronald gonna have a mysterious accident?
We were robbed. you know,
like maybe this is where we get our murder mystery. Right?
Oh my God.
Like,
I think I'm on that path. I'm thinking like 90 Day Fiance, ID channel collab.
I'm rubbing off on you. I love it.
Some shit like that. I used to watch so much ID, but oh no, I've been watching this for too long. But like, I don't express my morbid thoughts usually. But I would just strangle him. And I go back and I go, how much of it is for the camera? You know what I mean? Like, does he have to keep this persona of being the absent dad, you know, the asshole who can't even get a job for himself and take care of himself while she kills herself to take care of all their kids? You know, it seems to be the storyline. So for me, it's hard to get over that, you know.
Right.
You know, we are the Fraudcast, however. So, I'm not able to like take it like a regular viewer, but at the same time,
it's hard to turn off the fraud.
I know that's like the bipolar feeling. It's like, well, you know, you're yelling at your screen saying it's not real, yet you're watching it and yelling at the screen because you're upset, even if it's not real. It's like I'm still fucking pissed off.
Right. Speaking of pissed off, can we talk Angela and Michael?
We can always talk Angela and Michael.
So I know I've seen a lot of chatter about people are getting tired of Angela's like over the top reactions and all of this, like this role that she's playing, right? This laughing at herself and all this stuff, which, you know, I was frankly sick of the first episode. So people are really starting to get over that and stuff. And I think, you know, we saw more of her. Is she going to quit smoking? Is she not going to quit smoking, you know, for surgery type of thing? And so we saw that get a little bit further, you know, at least she's trying like hypnosis or something. But then she went right back to smoking because Michael is stressing her out. And this most recent episode, she went to a whole new level where she's so pissed off at him because he says in the bit we see with him, he says he was pissed off at Angela basically for doing all this stuff and not really consulting him, not, you know, as the man of the relationship and all this stuff, which, you know, she's never really abided by that. So I don't know why he thinks suddenly she's going to like kowtow to him.
Oh, put my foot down.
I know, right? I'm the man.
Angela, I'm the man.
But he decides to give her the silent treatment. And she just gets pissed and more pissed. And the longer it goes on, the more pissed she gets. And so she has created this narrative now in her head about how terrible he is. And she's going to divorce him, but she wants to track his phone first. So she goes to this computer guy, I guess. I don't know who he was or whatever, but that poor guy, Claudio. And she was like, you know, I want to track his phone. Here, let's call him right now. And then she gets in this whole fight with him, with the poor guy watching. And then she's like asking him like his advice, like he's a marriage counselor. And he's like, dude, I'm just fix computers, you know. Personally, my thought is that like, well, you know, she's going on about how selfish she is and she needs him and all this stuff. And it's like, no, you're the selfish one. You've always been about you've never really cared about him, at least that we've seen, right? We don't know what aren't shown, but we know how Angela treats him and stuff. And in my eyes, it's like he finally just got sick of your shit and he's not going to put up with it anymore. And now this is the consequences of that. So maybe you just need to like slow your roll and figure that out rather than amping things up and saying you're going to divorce him. Like she's just adding fuel to the fire, just completely unhealthy relationship dynamic with both of them. Because if he's mad at her about this stuff, he needs to tell her. And if she's mad, you know, she needs to talk to him about it instead of just like letting it simmer and get bigger and bigger and bigger. Right. So,
do you think with all the surgery, she's disrespecting him?
Well, I mean, he has expressed that he feels it is kind of disrespectful. I don't know if it's the surgery itself, although there is a component to that because culturally, you know, he's not used to that kind of thing, whereas we are a lot more conditioned to it. But I think the bigger issue with him is that, she just decided to go ahead and do this, right, without really discussing it with him. And then they talk about the cost of the facelift surgery. But my guess is that she actually wouldn't be paying for it. Much like the
either that or sometimes you can find they might have paid for it for her. I think there was a lot of celebrity in that, but
right, exactly. Like I think with like the weight loss surgery and stuff, like she does lives and stuff with him. It's and there's anything wrong with it, but they're making it into the storyline that I think is false, right? And that her spending that kind of money without consulting him, just assuming hypothetically that it's real, and that is a real issue. I think he has the right to be pissed, because if he's saying we're combining our finances and she's spending that kind of money without consulting him, I do think that is sort of disrespectful to the relationship. Whether I personally agree with that dynamic or whatever, it is irrelevant, right? Like it's if that's what their expectations are.
I kind of dive into it. Reminds me of I don't want to run off into a tangent, but like 600 Pound Life, where when they start losing weight, the guys are freaking out.
Right.
It's kind of a mix of that. Like, I think he really, really liked who she was. I think he just likes big, right? I think a lot of guys in Africa are okay with big.
Right.
And she's making her health super skinny. So kind of like, yeah, he's in love with her personality, but the attraction to her physically might be fading because that's not exactly his type. And so I guess, right? Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure it's like most people would be like, hey, he's a dick. You should love her for who she is. And she want her to be healthy. I agree with that. But I also think there's kind of a mental thing too, where he might
a component, of that. Yeah,
that's just my 2 cents, but.
No, I would agree, because he has said that too. And he loves her big boobs, and women getting breast reduction surgeries and weight loss surgery in his country that's not a thing. Like, people don't do that there. So,
right.
And then he likes her for the way she is, the way she was. And he's said that before. He likes her, her body, the way
he should have threatened her and said, I won't let you eat chocolate off me anymore if you get that surgery.
So I mean, their relationship this is like such a microscope on like it's a magnified view of like all of the problems in their relationship, and that like Angela does what she wants to do and how she wants to do it, and Michael's always just sort of taken it, and
right.
And that's always how it's been. And now he's not.
And getting threatened if, I'm just going to stop the visa process, or fine, we can just break up, and, kind of dangling his hopes of coming to America on a string. It's always been what it is. It feels like,
Yeah. Yeah. And then like, if he dares not answer his phone or whatever, then she gets, oh, I don't trust him, and he's off doing things he's not supposed to be doing, and all of this stuff, when she's like flirting with her plastic surgeon and this guy with the computers, and, and I'm saying all these things that if Michael did any of this stuff, like he'd get his ass handed to him, and he has to apologize with cake and all this stuff. But like, I wish that he would have instead of just giving her the silent treatment, just like explain this to her, like this is how I feel also about like the other couples on the show, and when they argue, and just explain like, look, this is why I'm mad. I'm mad that you did this because it made me feel X,
Right.
And I mean,
that would be communicating.
I know.
I forgot 90 Day Fiance is not about communicating.
I know. These people are so dysfunctional. They're so dysfunctional. I can't.
That's why we watch, though.
I know. That's why
we watch.
Attention foodies, Discovery Plus has what you're hungry for. With new original series and a supersized collection of favorites, Discovery Plus has the largest collection of food shows anywhere. With new exclusives like Bobby and Chata in Italy and Luda Can't Cook. The streaming service for everyone hungry for more. More cooking, more competition, more originals. all for only $4.99. Discovery Plus is the streaming home of food, plus so much more. Start your free trial.
Meyer brand snacks promise the great value you expect with a quality guarantee in every bite. And summertime snacking is our most favorite snacking season of all because Meyer brand makes it deliciously easy. From new lemonade flavors to classic ingredients for backyard s'mores to creamy ice cream varieties like new limited edition Purple Cow by Meyer Very Berry Americana with ribbons of real strawberry and blueberry swirls waving in creamy vanilla ice cream. Stop into Meyer and discover big taste and bigger savings on Meyer brand summertime snacks.
Mike and Natalie.
Oh, Jesus.
Natalie and your mom called me a hooker. See, and again, this is the same situation in that she interprets things in a certain way. Like she keeps saying his mom disrespected her, right? So she's taking this and multiplying it times 1,000 because she feels that by mom making a suggestion, hey, what have you thought about being an interpreter? She takes that as being this literal suggestion that she not even a suggestion, but like a commandment that she has to do this. And that means giving up her own stuff. So she's like taking this to like the nth degree, right? She thinks her mom called her a hooker, which nobody can seem to agree that happened, right? Like nobody thinks that actually happened. Or like maybe she said cooker or, who knows what she said. But then Natalie is making it about this. Your mom disrespected me, and my mom says I don't. Which was the whole. My mommy says I don't have to talk to you, and I shouldn't talk to you. And I why are you disrespecting me? And I can do what I want, and I can, it's not fair that you're trying to stomp on my dreams that I went to school for. And it's like nobody is doing that, right? Like nobody is saying that. No, she made a suggestion of perhaps you can be an interpreter while you do, prepare this other stuff or whatever. And Natalie take it in a completely different way. And again, takes that to the nth degree. And it looks like Mike is finally like calling her on some of her shit.
Well, they're also making it seem like Mike is struggling and that she has to pick up the slack. Like I know taking on an extra person costs money. I get that. That's like, yeah, no. Yeah. But she's acting like Mike is hurting. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, if you don't work, you guys are going to starve to death. You need to at least find something to do. Like that's right. Like the sense of urgency. I don't kind of understand, especially since I don't understand, I guess, why it's so urgent.
Yeah, I don't either.
That she gets a job. She should get a job, but it's not like,
yeah.
Some people don't want to be an interpreter. I personally don't think that she would make a good interpreter. No, personally. And that's just my professional opinion.
Yeah. And that's fine that she doesn't want to do that. But I don't think, Mike's mom sucks for a variety of reasons, but I don't think her suggesting that had any ill intent. It was like.
No, suggesting it, no, but pushing on it.
Did she? Do you feel like she pushed on it? I feel like
she was being a little pushy.
Okay. All right.
I've had a pushy, not mother-in-law, but I guess it would kind of be like, I don't know. My boyfriend's mom was kind of pushy like that. And it's like suggesting it once, sure, but continuing to bring it up, it's none of your business. Like, yeah. It's none of your.
Like, that's enough. Okay. Thanks for your concern.
Fucking business. It's really none of the mom's business what she decides to do as a job.
Right.
So it's kind of like we can fucking brainstorm together, but I don't need you investigating or what's the word?
Like Natalie or Brandon and Julia's mom making the appointment at the
yeah, like what are you gonna do? Hold the fucking scope while the guy goes in there with the like, come on.
Let's talk about them real quick. The comment I have about Brandon and Julia, it's like, okay, so Brandon does need to stand up to his parents and explain that he and Julia, now that Julia's in his life, it's sort of a thing that he wants to live out on his own, and that's okay, and stand up to his parents. But picking this party issue, this joint birthday party / celebrate your wedding party, seems like a really bitchy hill to choose to die on, right? To make it about that issue. Like, I get it in the sense that they specifically asked them not to do this and then they did it anyway.
Right.
But it's a party in the grand scheme of things. Maybe it was the straw that broke the camel's back, or maybe they're just complete assholes. Right. And whatever, I don't know, because I think, yes, they were trying to do something nice, and it's a party, and, it's really ultimately not that big of a deal. And was this the issue you wanted to push the principal of the situation on? I thought that was kind of a dick move. There's plenty of other things that you could stand up to your parents about and have the same conversation without being a dick with all your family and friends around. And they were really just trying to do something nice for you.
Yeah, that one's hard. If I ask for something and you don't listen, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah. And I get that. But like, was this the whole?
I don't care. But that's what happens. I was just doing something nice. I was just doing something nice.
Yeah.
It's like at some point you got to stop. I asked you not to do this. So stop being nice.
Stop doing your version of being nice is not what I want. Yeah, I get that.
You're doing it because you want to do it for us.
Yeah. And he finally realizes that, right? Like she's like, or he says something about like, she's making this about her. And it's like, oh, you just realized that. Like, she's always been making things about her, like Mother's Day and the wedding and all the other, whatever, whether like they take it personally that he wants to move out. Well, before Julia, he never wanted to. Well, yeah, it's a different situation now. He wants to live and he doesn't want to take over the farm, and he and Julia want to live off on their own. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's the conversation they need to have. And no, he doesn't want the murder farm. And
of course he wants to start thinking of things like moving out when he gets a wife, because that's common sense. Like that's usually what people think to do. Mm-hmm. They don't just pull out the double wide in the basement. They try to move on.
Yes, agree. Absolutely agree. But everybody on the show, everybody is complete assholes. I think the only redeeming character on the show was the rat that Natalie and Mike adopted.
Oh my God.
Which
all the memes.
I know.
I'm sorry.
The poor rat. Oh. But
I think the memes were funnier than the show.
Yes, definitely. I absolutely agree. Send us your funniest ones if you see good memes out there. We do like to share them. Check out Kyle's for the room.
I don't think I follow him. I should.
It's going.kyle.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check it out.
I think it's at going.kyle. Yeah. He's been posting some funny shit. That's Kyle of the Cray Crays.
I think I had to close him when the last time I saw it was like a mozzarella cheese ball. We know what that was.
The sweaty mozzarella. Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm triggered. Bye. I'm leaving.
Oh, lovely.
Fuck, man.
So yeah, that's like 3 weeks worth of the show wrapped up into a half an hour of us bitching about it, and that tells you everything you need to know about this show right now. I did watch Love After Lockup. I watched Love After Lockup on Friday. New season starting. Oh my God, so good. This shit was epic. It was absolutely epic. It's a Matt Sharp production. It's on WeTV Friday nights. A lot of the same audience that watches 90 Day watches Love After Lockup. There's a lot of great Instagram accounts about it. I know Starcasm has a bunch of spoilers on a lot of these couples, so you can go see them on Instagram if you want some spoilers on the couples. I personally do not, because I am just enjoying watching it, and I think it is absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait for Life After Lockup, which comes in August, which follows some of the same couples from the previous season. And that, even though I didn't watch it when it was on, I caught up on it on like the reruns and the marathons and stuff that they were showing in the run up to this season. So it was fantastic. Highly recommend. The other thing that we have to tell you guys and make this announcement now is that we will be shutting our Patreon down. This hopefully it's a temporary thing, but we have no immediate plans to reopen it at this point. Those of you guys who are members of our Patreon, you know how difficult it's been for us to get episodes out. And it's just at this time, we're not able to put out the kind of quality content that you guys deserve. So with that said, we will put it on pause, on hiatus on the Patreon site for just starting in July. That shouldn't charge you. And that gives you guys the opportunity to make sure that, like, if you want to cancel or whatever, you can do that. So we don't have to, try to deal with refunds and all that kind of stuff. We're trying to give you guys plenty of notice but I think if we do a pause hiatus, I think there's a way for us to do that on the site so that it won't charge you.
I think so. Just want to give heads up so people can cancel. Because I do it when I go, oh, I meant to close that one. And then the first rolls by and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I messed up.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't want to have to do it, but really it's just, we're not putting out the kind of content that you guys deserve. And, if you're paying for content, you should have quality content, and we're just not able to meet that need at this time. And then I'm running off to get married next month, less than a month. It's like 20 something days. I'm leaving in like 2 weeks. It's like a whole thing, lots going on. I've been crafting up a storm. I'm in my craft room right now. It's crazy. I'm doing all these little things for the wedding. Yeah, but we will continue. You guys will continue to hear us over here on the free version. Right now we're trying to do the every 2 weeks putting out a show, just because there's nothing to talk about that, we can't do every week because there's nothing to talk about. We'll see what happens going forward, and as they roll into other seasons and stuff. And I also want to say that I have not gotten any gossip from the tell-all filming that happened last 2 weeks ago up in New York. There's like little bits and clips going around, but like nobody's
it either wasn't that explosive or there wasn't anything worth talking.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's talking yet. I haven't gotten anything. I'm hoping we'll see.
A way to get people to.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if we get anything before it airs. Thank you guys for joining us. If you like us, make sure you hit subscribe. And that's it. That's all we got for you. We are the Fraudcast, and we're dumpster diving, so you don't have to.